last video that I put out, I talked about the Pisces portal that we're entering into starting this Thursday with the new moon in Pisces that will culminate 6 months from now into a lunar eclipse in Pisces in September. And so during this next 6 months, there's going to be a lot of disclosures having to do with third and ninth house issues, which is information, communications, and things going on locally versus in foreign lands. Now, because the whole Pam Bondi um, Epstein list is a really hot topic at this time coming into this new moon, I covered that mostly in the last video. If you missed it, go see it. But I do want to talk about some other things that I think are going to come up during the next 6 months. Disclosures I'm going to predict will be made. So here it is. Prediction number one. I do believe that over the next 6 months, we're going to see a lot of heightened weather activity with the North Node in Pisces. And I believe that this is manifesting in more hurricanes, floods, and especially as we have energies moving out of Pisces and into Aries, such as Saturn and Neptune, we will also see, unfortunately, more wildfires. And with this showing up in the placement of the United States natal third and fourth houses, we're looking at this hitting communities, obviously, and the homeland here. And so I do believe that because of these extreme weather events that we're going to see over the next 6 months, alongside this new moon energy, this Pisces portal, we're going to be getting more information, more disclosures having to do with technology, and maybe even suggesting that perhaps these storms and whatnot are not entirely natural, or perhaps they are accidental. And I think that we're going to have more people looking into topics of things that have been suppressed, such as geoengineering, cloud seeding, and weather manipulation programs. We're going to have more of a conversation, an honest conversation about the use of those technologies. Prediction number two. I believe that over the next 6 months, and really over the next year and a half, RFK is going to be making a lot of waves, and the whole MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, lot of waves being made. RFK seems to be getting off to a bit of a slow start, if you ask me, but I think he's just really doing a lot of intel gathering. And I believe by the end of this transit, you are going to see a lot of changes going on. And if you look at Uranus going through the sixth house, you can see the changes have been happening for quite some time, going back to like 2018, 2019, when Uranus first went in there into Taurus. And so there's been a lot of instability going on with public health and healthcare workers and all of that. But we're going to see this Uranus coming into a Uranus return for the nation and going into Gemini, which it will this year. A lot of these changes are going to be because of information, intel coming out. And again, it ties back into the 6 month energy with Pisces of disclosures, revelations coming out. And this for RFK is very information based, having to do with public health care workers. And that Uranus return is going to be going on from 2026 to 2028. So really, we're looking at key changes going on structurally within our healthcare system over the next few years. And mind you, this is at a time when Virgo is in the South Node. And there's definitely a spotlight on it in September. A lot of people are going to be thinking about healthcare, but look, we've got some shadow energy going on in that ninth house, having to do with organizational ideologies like NIH and CDC and FDA and USDA. And so again, with the South Node going through there will be a purge, I believe, of a lot of these status quo organizations, their belief systems getting purged out, and people are really rethinking what healthcare means. And I do feel with the North Node during this time on Pisces, in the third house, we're going to have a lot more community-based healthcare rising up, more focus on mental health, more focus on helping people with the fentanyl crisis, these addicts and whatnot. So that's a very positive thing. And this is at a time when, there's going to be a lot of disclosures that are not positive. I think that a lot of waste and fraud and corruption and abuse are probably going to get revealed. I think we're going to find out about the origins of the pandemic from 2020. I do think that probably Anthony Fauci is going to get dealt with, okay? There's going to be full disclosures coming out about gain of function research and things like that, and some key players. particularly in foreign labs, foreign laboratories. I could see getting purged out over here as well for the next year and a half. But definitely you're going to see some movement on this by September. Third prediction, I do believe that Americans are going to awaken to the truth about migrants and weaponized borders. I think that we have been dealing for some time now, over the last 2.5 years, definitely, that Pisces, Saturn has been in Pisces. We've been dealing with heavy karmic lessons about toxic empathy and learning that sometimes what may seem like the humanitarian thing to do, well, it's not purely humanitarian. There are people at play that are profiting from destabilizing people and nations. And so I do think that as people become aware of this, one thing that's going to happen is there's going to be heavy karma on the NGOs. Again, we're going back to South Node, having to do with purging organizational ideologies, okay? NGOs and whatnot who've been getting kickbacks and all of that. Well, the nation is starting to look at these churches or synagogues or whatever that have been getting kickbacks and profiting off of people's misery, and how this has resulted in a lot of crimes at the border and in our borders. So whether we're talking about disclosures about Epstein list, or things having to do with the healthcare or the weather or the migrants and NGOs, we have an opportunity with these disclosures to wake up humanity and to elevate and to step up to a higher standard. In the next video, I'm going to talk about what's going to happen to people who don't answer the call, because that's a real issue here in the United States.